Welcome everyone to my journaling and yoga workshop. We'll go ahead and begin. So just make sure you have your journal with you or something to write on and a pen. So before we really begin, I wanted to just kind of open with the why of journaling. Most of you have been with me before and we've journaled and we've talked a lot about this. But for those of you who are new or joining me for the first time, I have been journaling since I was a young girl. My first journal was written in gel pens. I remember writing "What's up?" into MJC, just chilling with my BFF. Like that's what journaling really looked like for me in the beginning. But I was creating a dialogue, an inner dialogue, and I wasn't aware of that when I began. But now that I'm older and I have more wisdom, I can look back and see that that's what I was doing. I was creating a safe space for me to discuss, to express, to really just kind of move through what I was experiencing. And throughout my life, it's become a very valuable tool. I have so many thoughts, so many ideas that are constantly flowing through my head. And then adding on top of that, all of the information that I'm receiving every day between social media and just traffic and noises, right? We're receiving so much information. So it's so important to have a tool where we can just purge this excess and just let it go and flow somewhere. Otherwise, we hold on to it and that begins to feel like chaos in our body. So our journaling or our journal is a safe and sacred space for us to express ourselves. And also, I wanted to say that I have multiple journals too. So I have a journal. This is my journal that I use. It's a little bitty. I use it in the morning times. It's my kind of more like a diary, like my personal thoughts and feelings, where I really get into what I want to remind myself of, what messages I'm receiving. It's kind of more of a spiritual little portal. And then I have like a bigger notebook. This is just like dollar store, college ruled notebook. I love how it lays flat and open and the spirals in the center. And this is where I write down my ideas, my projects. If I take a workshop or something like that, I'll take notes in it. So I have just like this notebook of inspiration. It's really important that whatever we have, we enjoy writing in it and we enjoy writing with it. So make sure you have a pen, that you love the way that it moves on the paper, or whatever, pencil, whatever you're using, and that whatever you're writing in is also just a really nice experience. That will make you want to go to your journal more often. Another thing I love about journaling is that we get to speak without a filter. So throughout our lives, when we're talking with other people, even people that we trust, even a therapist or a close friend or a family member, there's still this layer of self-judgment and this hesitation between what we really feel and what we actually say. So our paper is somewhere where we can kind of just purge without the consequences or without having to consider someone else's feelings or what someone else might think. I used to write in my journal in a way where I was like, okay, this has to be perfect and beautiful in case, when I die, my children will find it or someone will find it and they're going to read about my life, that it has to be inspiring. And so I was being a perfectionist in my own journal. And so at a certain point, I recognized that and I threw out that narrative and I was like, no way, like this is my space. So there are just pages upon pages where I'm just complaining or venting or writing cuss words or drawing pictures, just scribbling because rage or anger is what I felt in that moment. So what I'm saying is don't feel like what you put down has to be scripted or that's like someone else is going to read it. Like this is your space. You can rip it up and burn it when you're done if you want to make sure no one else ever sees what you write down. But let this be a space where you can authentically express what you're feeling, no matter how happy or sad or beautiful or ugly or whatever, however you may judge it, just let it be and trust that it's safe. And finally, final thought on this is that when we write in our journal, we're strengthening our intuition. We're really building and growing this relationship that we have with ourselves. This is a way to find our authentic voice. So if you're moving through your day and you're like, I'm not sure how I feel, I'm not sure what I think, and you kind of feel numb, Writing in a journal really helps you ground yourself so that you really know where you stand and your values are strong and you just have this deeper relationship with what's going on inside. Because then we become our best healers. Okay, so just set the journal down, have it in front of you for now. Let's begin by just having a seat. You can sit in hero's pose or sukhasana, or if you even want to lay back and lay down, that's fine. We're just going to do a little bit of breath work and drop into our bodies through mindfulness. So wherever you are, just gently close your eyes and feel your face soften. Take a deep breath in through your nose, as big as you can. And a big exhale. 2 more. Let's sigh it out. Inhale. Now seal your lips and take deep breaths in and out through your nose. Really taking your time with your breath. As you breathe, feel your awareness drop down into your body. We think with our entire body. Our mind does not just exist in our head. It is also living in our fingers and our toes, in our hips, in our heart. Our entire body is a messaging system. Messages are moving in every direction. We actually feel our thoughts before we react to them. We feel our emotions before we create a story. So as you breathe, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Feel your knees and your elbows, your hips and your shoulders. Take another deep breath into your belly. Feel the whole body come to life. Breathe into your heart space, activating this space of compassion. And then bring your awareness to the center of your mind, the third eye, between the eyebrows. Take 3 deep breaths into this space. No story, just a commitment to this moment. Now place one hand on your heart and the other hand on your belly. We're going to practice Brahmari Pranayama, or bumblebee breath. So your lips will stay sealed. Your inhale is through your nose. On the exhale, we're going to hum it out, just like a bumblebee is buzzing around. We'll do this 5 times together. So exhale wherever you are. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep cleansing breath. Sound is soothing. We just tune our nervous system. Feel this sacred space within and all around. When you feel ready, just allow your eyes to gently open, finding your journal and your pen. And on this blank piece of paper, wherever feels intuitive to you, draw a shape or a symbol that you feel drawn to lately. A shape or a symbol. Maybe you saw something in nature, or a number keeps popping up, or a shape that you've been using in meditation. And then somewhere around this shape or symbol, write down how this symbol represents who you are. We can only identify what already exists within us. So what does this shape mean to you, and how does it represent who you are? In whatever way. And now from this description, find an adjective or a word and create an I am sentence or an I am statement. So you can write down Sat Nam, that is the Sanskrit word for I am that. So this understanding that I am everything. But today for our practice, choose one word for this. I am. And then when you finish your I am statement, you can set your journal back down and we'll meet in our Sukhasana, an easy seat. And bring one hand to the heart, the other to the belly. And just close your eyes and sit with this I am statement. Take a few deep breaths, feeling the power of this message. And then say your mantra out loud 3 times to yourself. I am light. I am light. I am light. And just feel the frequency of this message within your own vibrational field. Sat Nam. And when you feel ready, let's roll onto our hands and knees for tabletop. Spread the fingers wide, let the feet rest on the earth. Move through your cat-cow flow. On your inhale breath, you lower your belly, you gaze up. On the exhale, you round your spine, chin to chest. And just flow through this. You can add any organic movement. You can look side to side. You can roll out your shoulders and your hips. And start to make big circles with the hips. Big circles in one direction. And then the other. Then come back to center. Send your right foot back and behind you. Tuck the toes. The leg is straight, just waking up the back of the leg. Take a deep breath. Then pick the foot up off of the ground and roll out your foot, working out your ankle. Then reach your left hand out in front of you, rolling out your hand, working out the wrist. Find a deep inhale breath, reach forward, kick back, creating space. Exhale, soften, tabletop. Send your left leg back and behind you this time, toes are tucked. Press the heel back and just stretch the back of the leg as you breathe. Then pick the foot up off of the mat. Roll out that ankle, waking up the foot, sending energy down into the leg. Then send your right hand forward, rolling out the hand and the wrist. Then find an inhale breath, reach forward, kick back, creating space. Exhale, soften. Take a few more rounds of cat-cow here. And bring the big toes to touch. Sit your hips back, rest into your child's pose for a few breaths. Press your hands into the earth. Feel the hips soften back toward your heels. And just check in with yourself here. How are you feeling? Do you already feel a shift just by dropping into this space and breathing and being with yourself? Take another deep breath here. And slowly walk the hands in, rising up. And find your journal. Then on your journal, you're going to draw a T shape. So you're going to create 4 blocks. So draw an X that's shaped like a T so that you have 4 sections to write in your journal. Now the top left box is emotion. You can write down the word emotion. The next box is physical, or my body. The next box is mind, or intellect. And the 4th box is spirit, or spiritual. So the idea here is we're going to go through each box and check in with ourselves. How am I feeling emotionally? How am I feeling physically? How do I feel intellectually? What is my mind like? And then how am I feeling spiritually? Go through each box. We'll take a few minutes to just check in and write a few things down without judgment. Now look at each box and just notice if anything feels a little out of balance. What can you give yourself in each of these areas, if needed? What can you give yourself to cater to this part of yourself? So for example, in my emotion box, today I'm feeling sensitive. So what I will do to practice self-care is I will be gentle with myself. So what can you write down? Maybe in one box, maybe in all four, but just kind of practicing this nurturing relationship with yourself. And then when you're finished with your journaling, we'll meet in a child's pose. And once you're in your child's pose, just rest here. Breathe. With the eyes closed, look into the mind's eye, the space between your eyebrows, reconnecting with this sacred space. Just let this be a practice of surrender. What are we grasping onto in our lives for a sense of control? Breathe into your hips. Take 3 deep breaths right here. I am. And when you feel ready, slowly press up to your hands and knees, and then into your downward facing dog. Send the hips high. And just take a few breaths here, find some movement. You can walk out the heels. You can roll out your ankles a few times. Press through your hands. Feel the back of the legs soften as you release control in the hamstrings. You release tension. Just breathe. Now begin to walk your hands back toward your feet for ragdoll. Bend your knees, grab your elbows, relax your head, and just sway side to side. Feel the crown of your head pour open, releasing any extra thoughts, any tension in the neck and shoulders. Then find stillness in your ragdoll and take 3 deep breaths. Then bring your hands back down to the earth. Walk them forward back into your downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe into your core space. Spread the fingers and toes wide. 1 more deep breath. And bring your knees back down to the earth. Toes touch. Sit back into your child's pose. And breathe here. And when you feel ready, find your journal. And we have 3 statements here that we'll do as journaling prompts. The first one is I surrender. I surrender. So what do you surrender? This could be a thought, a belief about yourself, an expectation that you have on something or someone else. I surrender. Our next statement is I release control over. I release control over. What are we trying to control in our lives? And the final statement here is I trust that. I trust that. I trust that this will be taken care of. I trust that I have everything I need. And when you finish, return to your child's pose. And take a few breaths here with this I trust narrative, this I trust statement. Breathe that in and feel it in your body. What does trust feel like as you experience it? We'll meet in downward facing dog. Send the hips high. Take a deep breath here. Then look forward between your hands and walk up to the top of your mat. Bring the big toes to touch and release your head into forward fold. Take a horse breath here, exhaling with the lips. On an inhale breath, slowly begin to rise up, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Come all the way up to standing. Opening your hands by your sides for mountain pose. The palms are open. Take a deep breath here, standing in your power. Feel your feet rooted into the earth. Press them down into the ground, and on an inhale breath, reach your hands over your head, sending energy and light out through the fingertips, feeling your energy field reach in both directions, toward the earth and up to the sky. Take a deep breath here in this space. Find an inhale. Exhale, back bend, cactus the elbows, expand the heart space. Inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale to bring the hands to your low back. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers together. On the inhale breath, you can lift the chest, option to straighten your arms if that's available to you. Then let's take a forward fold, slowly bowing forward. Relax the head. Maybe you send your hands up and over your head towards the earth. Draw the navel in. You can keep the knees bent, or you can try and straighten your legs. Look side to side. Then slowly bring your hands back down to your sides. Inhale, rise. Reach forward and all the way up, all the way back up to standing. Exhale, mountain pose, hands by your sides. Close your eyes and just take a few breaths here. We'll begin our sun salutations, an awakening in our body of prana. So exhale your breath through your mouth. Take an inhale through your nose. Big exhale. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, take a back bend, cactus the elbows. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, hands to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step back to your plank pose. Option to take your knees as you lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale to cobra pose, lift the chest. Press your feet down into the floor, hug your elbows into your ribs. Take a deep breath here and soften. Inhale, press up to plank or tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high. We'll flow through that entire thing together 2 times. Inhale, lift your heels, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold, relax your head. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Send your hands overhead. Exhale, take a back bend, cactus the elbows. Inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, hands to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose, lower down to your belly. Inhale, cobra, lift the chest. Exhale, soften. Inhale, press up to plank or tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, reach overhead. Exhale, take a back bend. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Option to take chaturanga or lower down to your belly. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your feet wide in your downward facing dog, as wide as your mat. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Turn the toes out 45 degrees. And then sit into your hips for malasana. Press the palms together as you lengthen your spine. And just take a few breaths here with the eyes closed. Settling into your hips. Returning to the I message of your practice today. I am. And then sit all the way back onto your bottom. Nice work. Return to your journal. And then this part of our practice where we are awakening the body through our sun salutations, consider what it is that you feel awakening within yourself. What do I feel awakening within me? Maybe you have new creative ideas or a discovered skill or hobby that you love. Maybe you're receiving messages, whether it be through synchronicities in your life or through your meditations or your dreams. Or maybe you're reflecting back on your life and you're looking back and you're learning lessons that you didn't see before. But take a few minutes here to just sit with that question. What do I feel awakening within me? After you finish, let's meet in our hero's pose. Knees together, feet together. Just sit back on the heels. One hand to heart, one hand to belly, and just breathe here in this space. Dropping back in. Returning to your I am statement today. Breathe this in, feel it in your heart. Feel it in your gut. And how can this I am statement support you as we move into the warrior postures of this practice? Into this resilient part of yourself. Let's sing the sound of Om together here in this space. Inhale. Bring your hands to the mat. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Send your hips high. Inhale, send the right leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the knees, stack open the hip. Send that right leg straight back behind you again. Find an inhale breath. Exhale, step the foot forward. Warrior one, the back heel grounds down, rise up through the arms. Your back foot is turned out 45 degrees. Bend into your front knee until it stacks over your ankle. Reach up through the fingertips and breathe here. Your core is active. You can close your eyes, testing your balance here in this space. I honor and respect the balance of life. I accept the challenges. I face the truths. I surrender fear. Take another deep breath here. And then reach your hands behind your low back. Interlace the fingers together, preparing for humble warrior. Inhale, lift the chest. Maybe you can straighten your arms behind you. Exhale, forward fold, bringing your right shoulder to your right knee. Relax your head. And just breathe here. This posture honors the balance of life. As we're reaching and rooted in our past, we bow forward to the future in humility, honoring this balance in the space between, in the now. Take a deep breath. And slowly rise back up into warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. Option to flow through a chaturanga vinyasa if you need it, or you can just press back to downward facing dog. This is your practice. Honor your body and your needs. Other side, inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee, stack open the hip. Roll out the ankle, take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, straighten that left leg back out behind you. Exhale, step the foot forward. Warrior one, root down to the back heel, rise up. Spread the toes wide. Really feel your back heel on the floor. Reach up through the fingertips. With a strong core, lead with the heart. Feel the shoulders melt away from your ears. Channeling this warrior energy, the resilience that exists within you, your ability to adapt. Take a few deep breaths. I honor the balance of life. Bring your hands to your low back, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, lift your chest, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold into humble warrior. Stay rooted to that back foot. Relax your head. And just breathe here in this unfamiliar shape. What do you feel? When you're faced with challenge, how do you react? Can you find the balance of effort and ease in this posture? Take another deep breath here. On your next inhale, slowly rise back up to warrior one. Reach up. Exhale, both hands to the earth. Flow through your vinyasa or meet us in downward facing dog. And child's pose, knees to the earth. Set the hips back. Take 3 deep breaths here, reflecting on these postures and on this work. When you feel ready, slowly press back up. Returning to your journal. Here we'll reflect on our past year and write down one challenge that you've faced this year. One challenge, however big or small. This could be just in the 2020 calendar. We've had plenty of challenges already. Or you can reach back a little further if you'd like. Whatever stands out to you, whatever rises first, just go with that. This is more of an exercise for you to just access and know rather than judging and having a story around what you write down. So what is a challenge that you've faced? And now looking at this challenge, reflect on how you responded to it. Did you react? Do you regret your reaction? Did you bulldoze through it? Or maybe you can look back and say, I handled that well, and this is what I did. How did you respond to this challenge? Did you feel fear immediately crop up? Or did you find excitement in a new challenge? And then finally, what did you learn? What have I learned from this challenge? No matter how you responded to it, doesn't matter as much as what you learned from it. We learn from our mistakes. We also learn from our triumphs and our successes. Everything is just an experience followed by a lesson. So what did you learn? And when you're finished, return to your hero's pose. Bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Reflect on what you've written so far. Take a few breaths here in your hero's pose. Honoring the strength that you have as a warrior. And let's meet in downward facing dog. Send the hips high. Let's take a deep breath together here in down dog. So exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Big exhale. Inhale, send that right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot forward. Let's rise up into our warrior two. Plant the back heel down. Arms are open wide. Your gaze is over the right hand. Lunge into your front foot until your knee stacks over the ankle. Flip the palms up here, feeling the strength of your arms and your shoulders. Breathe here. And as you look over your right palm, repeat this mantra: I am strong. I am brave. I am peaceful. I am a warrior. Inhale, reverse warrior, reaching up. Take a deep breath here. Then cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Option to flow through chaturanga or press back to downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step that foot forward. Inhale, warrior two. Cartwheel the arms open, gazing over the left hand. Flip the palms up. Lunge a little deeper into that front knee, feeling the awakening in your legs here as you're rooted into the earth in your own strength. Look over the left hand and repeat this mantra: I am strong. I am brave. I am peaceful. I am a warrior. Inhale, reverse warrior, reach up, lounging into that front knee. Take a deep breath. And cartwheel the hands down to the earth. Float through your chaturanga or press back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath into downward facing dog. Then lower your knees to the earth. Sit back onto your heels for hero's pose. One hand to the heart, the other to your belly. Returning to your I am statement. Take a deep breath here. Then find your journal. And here in this space, think of one fear, one narrative that you have been facing lately. What is one fear that you've been wrestling with or moving through? Maybe this past week or this past month. Identify this fear and write it down on paper. And try to simplify your fear down into one sentence. Just try to simplify it as much as you can. Find the root fear there. So if I'm afraid that I'm gonna go to the grocery store and won't be enough groceries, or I'm afraid that there won't be enough money for me to pay my bills, my fear there is not enough. Or I will not get what I need. So try to find that root fear in whatever it is that you've been wrestling through. And now that you've identified that fear, write down one tool that you can use, or maybe you're already using it, but a tool that you can use to work through this fear. That could be a mantra or a statement that you're going to use to rewrite the narrative. Or maybe there's a self-care practice that you can use. your yoga practice, breath work, calling a friend. And now provide one solution to your fear. The fear is there, you've recognized it, you've identified a tool that you can use to help navigate it. It may not make the fear go away, but you have this tool in place so that you can cope with the fear. And now let's rewrite the narrative. So what statement, so going back to the fear statement, for example, my fear is that there is not enough. What new narrative can I create with a higher vibration to rewrite that story? So for example, if my fear is that there is not enough, then the new story that I'm going to write is that I have everything I need. There will always be enough. When you finish writing, sit in your Sukhasana with the eyes closed, meditating on this new narrative, repeating it to yourself over and over as you recreate the neuropathway, the samskara in your mind. You detach from this fear and create a more positive narrative. And from this narrative, we manifest our lives with what we truly want. Take another breath here in this space. And we'll meet in downward facing dog, send the hips high. From downward facing dog, take a nice deep breath. And then roll forward to your plank pose. Shoulders stack over the wrists. Bring the feet together, just breathing nice and strong here. Always an option to come to your knees. Take another deep, powerful breath here, activating deeper energies in your body. Opening up new spaces. And then slowly lower all the way down to your belly. We'll take floor bow, bend your knees, and reach back with your hands to grab the outer edges of your feet, the palms face together. Exhale the breath out to soften. Inhale, kick into your hands, lifting the chest, breathing along the front of the body, opening up the hips and the heart and the throat. Take another deep breath, lift a little higher, and soften. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Slowly press up to tabletop. Walk your hands all the way back so that you rise up onto your knees. For camel pose. Knees are at hips width distance. Bring your hands to your low back like you're sliding your hands into your back pockets. Lift the chest, find an inhale breath, engage your core. Press your feet into the earth as you lean back, lifting to the chest and then leaning back, opening the heart space. Feel the core turn on, take a deep breath. Then rise back up through center, sit back onto your heels. One hand to your heart, the other to your belly. Feel the awakening of prana within you. Feel new energy activating within your cells. Let's take another camel pose. Rise back up onto your knees. Hands come to the low back. Option to stay here in your camel pose or to bring your hands back to your feet this time. You may want to tuck your toes to bring the feet a little higher. Inhale to lift your spine. Exhale, lean back into your expression of camel. Maybe your hands come back to your heels. Let's take 3 deep breaths here together. In through the nose. Lion's breath. 2 more. 1 more. Slowly rise back up. Set back onto your heels again. One hand to your heart, the other to your belly. Close your eyes. I am open to new ideas. I release the old and I welcome the new. Breathe into the space of fresh energy and fresh air. Then return to your journal. So when we experience challenge and change in our lives, we can see it as an opportunity to create a new perspective, to expand our ideas and what we already know, to step outside of our comfort zones. So here, write down something that you'd like to learn more about. Maybe a subject or an art or craft. What is something that you've been curious about that you'd like to learn more about? And then what will you do to access this information? How can you find it? Do you sign up for a class? Do you find a book? Do you prioritize and make time for it? Maybe there's a teacher that you seek. Or maybe it means sitting in meditation and listening. When we learn new things, we gain a fresh perspective, and then we are naturally open to new ideas, to new perspectives. So take a breath here in this space, maybe in your child's pose or in your hero's pose, just to honor this interest, this new perspective, this new idea that you wish to invite into your life. Use the laws of attraction to bring it to you. Breathe into this space. Then let's sit back into a seat. We'll send the legs straight out in front of us for a seated forward fold. Flex the feet, lengthen through your spine, and knees are together. Inhale, send the arms high. Exhale, reach out and over your legs for your toes or your shins. And just let the spine rest here. Feel the stretch along the back of your legs as we open the back body. Feel the mind soften. Feel the inner critic become quiet. And just rest with yourself in this space. And slowly rise back up to center. Let's send the legs wide into a wide forward fold. Feet wide. Flex them here. Flex the feet. Lengthen up through your spine. And this may be enough. This may feel like a really nice stretch. And so you can just rest with your fingertips on the earth. And really focus on lengthening your spine as the hips open. If you'd like to go deeper, you can start to walk the hands forward, resting onto your forearms. Relax your head. Walk the fingertips out as far as you can. Or find a way to rest. And just breathe here. Being gentle. Take one more deep breath here. And then slowly rise back up through center. Grab the back of your knees, pull them into your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. Humble yogi, rest your head. Just curl up into a little ball here, holding yourself. What have you been hard on yourself for lately? What judgment, what harsh narrative have you been using to critique yourself? And how can we transform this narrative into something more supportive? How can we practice self-forgiveness? We're not always meeting the expectations that we put on ourselves. Just hold yourself here, reminding yourself that you are loved, you are cared for. Even if only by yourself, even if only by your higher power, your creative source. Take a deep breath here. And release. Find your journal. And let's write about this. What is one thing that you've been hard on yourself for lately? We're all guilty of it. It's okay. I'm not doing enough. I'm not creating enough. I'm not calling enough friends. What is it that you've been hard on yourself for? Not meeting goals, whatever it is. Your body weight, your body image. And how can you transform this self-criticism into support? Like we did with our fear, let's create a supportive narrative here, practicing ahimsa, compassion toward ourselves. What can we say instead? What self-forgiveness needs to be done here? And maybe that's just, I forgive myself for ... When you're finished, lay back onto your back, preparing for our final part of our asana practice. Lay back with your knees bent, feet on the floor, just feeling your spine rest on the ground. One hand to the heart, the other to the belly, knees knocked in toward each other. Feel the earth beneath you as you ground down into it, feeling held and cared for. Let's hug our knees into your chest. It's rocking side to side, massaging your low back on the mat. And keep your right knee in, send your left leg long. Hug the knee to your chest. And just stay here for a few breaths as we release the psoas muscles, as we massage the digestive organs. This literally improves our ability to digest it. Not only food, but information, ideas. Take a deep breath here. And we'll take a twist. Draw the knee across your body. Send your right arm out by your side. Feel your shoulders rest on the earth as you twist. Is there anything left to let go of here? If you feel any tension in your body or your mind, focus on your exhale. Take another deep breath. And release back to center. Switch legs. Pull the left knee in, send the right leg long. Hug the knee into your chest. Feel the hips soften as you breathe. Breathe into your belly as we massage the digestive organs. Feel your low back soften. And then take a twist. Pull the knee across your body. Send your left arm out to the side. And breathe here. Feel both shoulders soften onto the mat. And then bring your knees back to center. Hug them into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Lift your chin up to your knees as you squeeze into a tiny ball. Squeeze your face, your belly, your shoulders. Find an inhale breath. Exhale for Shavasana. Send the arms and legs long. Let the palms roll open by your sides. Feel your face soften. Arms soften. Your chest softens. Your hips soften. The legs soften. Just take a deep breath here, feeling the whole body relax. Bring your inner gaze to the space between your eyebrows. Feel your whole body become light here. Return to your I am statement. Satnam, I am. What does this feel like in your body? This truth. We think and feel with our entire being. Feel all that you are in this space. Begin to deepen your breath again. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and turn your head side to side. And reach your hands up and over your head. Point your toes as you stretch, awakening the body. And then roll onto either side, supporting your head with your arm, resting in your fetal pose. Through this practice today, we've practiced samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. We've released and shed away the excess layers of self that weigh us down, that keep us contained. We've shattered the illusion of Maya and awakened ourselves to higher truth. Here we are in this new space of bliss. What will we do with this new space? When you feel ready, slowly begin to press yourself back up. And before we close our practice today, take some time here with pen to paper, about 5 minutes, just to free write anything else that you're feeling, any messages that might have come up for you to this practice today that we didn't talk about already. Just take this time to journal a flow of consciousness. You can draw, you can write, whatever comes to you. Now find a stopping point, finish your thought or your sentence. And then write down a gratitude list, at least 3 things that you are grateful for. Try not to just list people, go a little bit deeper. 3 things that you are grateful for in your life. And when you're finished, let's meet in Sukhasana, our easy seat, to seal this practice in this space. In your easy seat of Sukhasana, take a moment to reflect on the gratitude that you have for this practice and for your life. Feel this gratitude in your heart as you breathe. You're so fortunate and so grateful to be a part of this world and this life. During this time, this important time in the human evolution of so much change and transformation. May we just be grateful to be here in this space. On your inhale breath, reach your hands up and over your head, press the palms together, and then draw them down into the heart space for our Anjali Mudra. Let's seal our practice today with the sound of Om, the sound that reminds us that we are all one, we are all connected. Inhale together. It is an honor to share this sacred space with each of you. Thank you for being here today. I truly believe that we heal together. So thank you. Lift your hands up to your third eye. The light and the teacher and the student within me, bow to the light and the teacher and the student within each of you. We bow forward together, sealing this practice with Namaste. Namaste.